Hey YouTube, back at you with a follow-up video here. A while back I did a video on the Gritomatic stone holder, and I popped for the expensive model here. And as you can see, I've done some stuff to it, trying to modify it. Added some real strong magnets here and here, and also on one of my stones. The problem I had, if you watch the video, you'll see, was the stone holder at the metal end here, the black piece that moves, had a gap. And those magnets hold the stone and keep the gap mostly the same. There's still a little bit of a, let me see if I can get that for you. Still a little bit, but not much. Made it usable and close enough for government work. Some point in time after that video, Gritomatic reached out to me and said they felt my stone holder was defective, and I honestly didn't think so, because from what I can see, the problem with it, and they do have a dovetail here, it's not flat like the end of my stone. See, that's flat. That's got a dovetail, that's got a dovetail. And it seems to me that that dovetail makes a point that pivots. And if you look at this, the metal end, there is a fair amount of play from where they drill it in the black metal piece. So this rod here can slide on the spring. If I pull it back, it's really hard to do on camera, but you can see there's a fair amount of wiggle in there. So I think the solution for Gritomatic, if they care for my opinion, would be to drill the hole that this orange shaft goes into this metal piece, the sliding piece that fits your stone in there. Drill it smaller. You know, get a more precise measurement on the size of this diameter of this rod here, and make the hole just a tiny bit, tiniest smidge you can do in the metal piece that slides. And even though these stones aren't dovetailed, I think it'll work just fine then. It's just that little bit of play. Maybe you can see this. This causing the issue. My magnet fix didn't work. What it did do is I took some of my really nice Veneve, not, are they dragon? What are they called? Scorpion. Veneve scorpion stones. Got these from Gritomatic as well. And I highly recommend these. These are the absolute best stones I've ever used. I got KME gold stones, diamond stones, and they're fine. But these things, holy cow, it's a whole different level. You want to put a polish on a knife, this 240 won't do it, but it'll take out a lot of scratch marks. The next one I have is the 800. And you can actually get a pretty good polish just off the 800. But I did go ahead and order another one, a 1200 grit. And this thing is super fine. If you're not familiar with the grit system they're using, it's not the same as these stones, as I understand it, are made in Russia, and it's not the same as our American system. It's different. And the 240, you know, is probably somewhere around an 800 grit. The 800 grit stone is probably 2,000, 2,500-ish in terms of traditional grits that us Americans are used to. The 1,200 grit, my newest Veneve Scorpion, I believe is probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,500, 6,000 grit. I could be wrong. I'm estimating on that a little bit. But anyway, I digress. Gritomatic watched my video. They said they thought it was defective, and they sent me this. Brand new. Not this one that I've boogered with, but a brand new one. And I notice it still has the play there, because the hole in the black piece is just a little bit too big for the diameter of that orange gold shaft. That said, I'm going to take Actually, not this one. Let me get one of my stones that does not have magnets attached to it, which, by the way, is a whole new story. I'm going to have to put my super nice Veneve stone in the vise, clamp it on the metal sides, not the portion of the material that contacts your blade. And I'm going to hit these little magnets real hard and fast with map gas torch. And then I'm going to take a little chisel and a little hammer and give them a pop. I use super glue to mount them. That should break that super glue down, and then my stones will be perfectly fine again, and I will be a happy camper. That said, let me get a KME, right? KME, good stones. A traditional diamond, traditional grit pattern, you know, 50 grits, 50 grit, 1,000 grits, 1,000 grit, just what you're used to. And I'm going to insert that into the new one, and we're going to check something out. I've already done this off camera because I don't want to say anything that's not true. Adjust it in there, get it as flat as I can get it. And I don't know if this is going to show up on camera or not. But there's still a gap. Now, I don't care as long as the gap's even, but it's not quite even. The end of the stone that goes to the black metal piece here is still, now maybe this will show up if you see me try and flatten this whole assembly out. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll bet you can hear it. Anyway, so it still has the same issue. Again, shaft, hole in the black metal, a little bit too big for the size of that shaft. That said, as I hold it up to the light, it is significantly less bad than the first one. And if I hold it like this to keep that black piece from canting on those dovetails, it's perfect. So it's better, still got the problem. And that's just the nature of, I believe, the shaft to hole ratio. You know, if your hole's too big for your shaft, somebody's going to complain, right? Anyway, sorry about that. What this video is really about isn't to bash Gritomatic or their stone holders at all. If you use an Edge Pro Apex, Edge Pro stones have the dovetail bevel in them. This would work absolutely phenomenal, 100% perfect. You wouldn't have any issues whatsoever. 100% recommend it for those. Not as much for these stones here with these flat ends without the dovetail. That's, I got to keep it honest. That said, Gritomatic customer service is nuts. I didn't call them to complain or try and send it back or anything like that because I figured it ain't going to do any good. You know, nobody's going to care. Well, they saw my video and they contacted me through email and said, I don't have to send the old one back, as you can see. And in super fast time, they sent me my new one, which was swell. I was tickled pink. But wait, there's more. I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll start with this. This has got some of my stones in it. They sent me the stone holder box. It's decent plastic, heavy duty, it's solid. Got these spring clamps here, solid. And it holds my stones. I used to just keep them in their little plastic things for the KMEs that they come in. I'd put them in the bag, and that's fine, but this is so much nicer. They sent me this. I didn't ask for this. This was free. Along with that, let me show you the other thing they sent me. And I don't know if this is in their catalog or not, but it might be. This is a plastic version of a stone holder. It still has the dovetail in it, but it's got a much, much wider flat here. And the reason I'm showing you this, they sent me this for free, okay? So let me put the stone in here. I don't even need to tighten this up, but you can, and it works great. There we go. Snug as a bug in a rug. And zero weirdness. I see none. hold the stone flat when the pivot piece goes to it, tighten it up, and the tiny little bit of air gap underneath it is the same on both sides. Wow. So if you're running KME stones or Veneve stones, this will work for you. Now when I just did that, I noticed there was a little bit of a gap. All right? I saw that. And that kind of ticked me off because I didn't notice that at first. Like right here. A little bit more on the end that moves. Just like this one on this end that moves. But if I squeeze the stone down, my thumb here on the back side of this piece, when I tighten this, right there, wham. No problems, man. I tell you, no problems. Little tiny air gap underneath it does not matter because that gap is 100% even. This stone will track flat and straight with no candywampus weirdness in this holder. So that's a bonus item they sent me, along with kick-ass customer service on the new piece. They sent me another piece in case that didn't work for it. I guess there wasn't a note. They didn't need a note. Actions speak louder than words. And I really like this one. It actually slides up and down on my work sharp better than, where is it? This one, which is Practical 3DP off Etsy. This is a good stone holder. Works great. The problem I got is it's got a bindy spot right about here on my rod. And that is not the 3DP guy's fault. Nope. And that is not, and I got a little bit of a bind on it with this one that I got from Gritomatic. Sorry, Gritomatic. But that said, it is not as bindy on the Gritomatic. Now here's part of the thing, you can hear that. Hear that right there? There's a bend right here in this rod. It wasn't straight. This work sharp was wrong from the factory. This piece here is supposed to be held to this with a magnet. I had to glue that in. It just kept falling out. The magnet wasn't pushed into the plastic straight and it didn't get a good bite. The rod came bent. I mean, if I got a bitch, I should be bitching to Work Sharp. But I like their tool. I just found my own workarounds for it, like I did with the magnets here on the Gritomatic. With the plastic one they sent me, absolutely free. I don't have to. So now I got 3 holders I can use. So if I ever choose to buy Edge Pro stones, bam, I got a perfect stone holder for that. And more than one good stone holder is better than one good stone holder. So they sent me this free. Outstanding customer service. They sent me this stone holder free. Their plastic model. Highly recommend if you use this style of stone, KME style, anything with a flat back that's not dovetailed. Absolutely free. Incredible customer service. But wait, there's more. Let me turn this around so you can see it. This is my Bradford Guardian, by the way. Do you see this? This is not the stock Work Sharp blade holder. This looks like a kitchen blade style one. It's actually not much wider on the knife than the factory one. It's solid. I can't tell if these pieces grabbing my knife are metal or plastic, whatever they are, they're smooth. Let me see if one of my magnets sticks to them. It does not. So they're either plastic or aluminum. Well, ain't sticking to my blade much either, so. Either way, I checked it. When it's in there, it's straight. Some clamps I've had in the past, the blade, when you clamp it, is off one way or the other and really boogers your edges up. This one doesn't do that. And they sent me this piece, the blade holder, absolutely free. Holy shit. Customer service off the chart. They also sent me this. This is a holder, and any of you guys that got the Work Sharp know that you get a lot of play up and down on this, so I always preload mine and try and keep it the same. Not ideal, but it seemed to work. This fits underneath your holder. Use this part off your stock work sharp. Use the Gritomatic blade holder here, which holds absolutely fantastic. Super tight and even, which is the most important too. So then you take your stone holder of choice, you put her in there. Ooh, is that my polished side or my 600 grit? That is my polished side, so I'm not actually going to do it. Then it goes up and down, waka, 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 like this. Anyway, with pressure on it, this ain't gonna, it's not gonna wobble at all. All that weight doesn't make it want to flop, so you'll want to keep a hand on your work sharp. Again, that's a work sharp thing, not a Gritomatic thing. So Gritomatic, free stone holder replacement. Still doesn't work for me perfectly, but by God they did it, and I didn't have to ask them. Different stone holder, more like the 3DP printing guy off Etsy, right? Works just as good. Free. The knife clamp, the support, the box for holding my stones. But wait, there's more. Also by Gritomatic. Hey, let me get some of this stuff out of your way. It's blocking you. Kangaroo strap. Fits in there. Get your angle nice. You don't round it off. You don't round off your apex. You keep it nice and crispy. Free. These things ain't free. These things cost money. We ain't done yet. Okay, I think I've covered everything. They also sent me this. That's gunny juice, ladies and gents. You know they don't give that away. I've never used gunny juice. I've used some cheaper stuff I got off Etsy, but all the real big channel knife guys on YouTube love the gunny juice, so I'm going to use the gunny juice. All of this for doing a video called The Fatal Flaw with the Gritomatic stone holder. Again, the new one still has it. Not as bad, not as much. Maybe only does it 1/3 as much as the first one, but it's still there. So I can't lie. I mean, I got to tell you guys honest, and that's the truth. But using Edge Pro stones, absolutely buy it. And if you're not as particular as I am, that little bit of variance, you probably wouldn't even know it's there. I go over all my edges when I'm done with at least 40 power magnification. If I can see little areas where I get more polish and some less, and I know there's something funky with the angle of that stone depending on where it's passing as I move it down my blade, right? Makes sense? So Gritomatic customer support, top notch, number one. If you're going to buy Veneve stones, and you should buy Veneve stones, buy them from Gritomatic. These guys are great. And that's really all I got. I'm going to get to work on my Bradford Guardian 3.5 here. Doing a dual grit edge on it. 600 grit, actual grit, off the KME stone on one side. And I'm going to go with the high polish on the other side. I tried a 50 grit on one of my Bradfords on one side, polish on the other. Really, really rough. Tried a 300 grit. Worked pretty good, pretty good. I'm thinking 600 here. It's going to be the hot ticket. And I'll again try a 1500 grit on one side and high polish on the other. Just to see what works best, what holds an edge longer. Bradford, by the way, is in crew wear. I got one in M4. I got one in Nitro V. So, round of applause, everybody. Gritomatic. They didn't buy this follow-up review. I'm still pointing out a little bit of an issue. Less, but still there. But their customer service and the other things they sent me, they're all top-notch, man. I don't have any problems with any of them. And what a company. You know, if they would have just sent me another holder, I'd have been happy. I was happy enough without them sending me another holder. I still used it. I still will use it. Just take the magnets off it. And I'll probably get me some dedicated stones from, not KME, the other company. I mentioned them earlier. You know who I'm talking about. Old age, man. Anyways, thanks for watching. This has gone way too long anyway. I just wanted to give a big thank you to Gritomatic. and point out customer service in America is not dead. Great company. Use them. Support them. Maybe everything they make isn't for you. I guarantee you some of it is. Thanks for watching and have a great day.